In what might constitute further evidence of what Cenk calls the unraveling, or just might be evidence of the further unraveling of Ted Nugent's weak mind at this point, he recently has been liking comments on Facebook that indicate support for the idea that Israel was responsible for 9/11. Let's bring up this first image. Seeing there, the like on the actual first comment, that is actually from Ted Nugent. Israeli Mossad was responsible for the 9/11 attack. Why are we still protecting the Zionists who also control our media? Podcasts are fine, but you should have a bigger forum. Now, he responds saying, oh, I'm almost muzzled. So it is sarcastic, and some defenders might say that he was just liking the part about you should have a bigger forum. I don't think you should respond to the comment in the first place if it's asserting that Israel caused 9/11.
Okay, so that's one time. And if that happens one time, and again, it could be sarcastic, but he seemed to have liked several things here.
Yeah, we have a few more.
Yes.
So we can bring up here, he's liking a documentary that says it wasn't an inside job. That documentary actually makes the case that it was Israel that committed the attacks of 9/11, or at least funded them, caused them. And then further, we have these comments here. You're seeing there again about Israeli Mossad are behind more than you know. And he's liking that as well.
Right. So, look, it's not to go on the warpath against Ted Nugent, which I've done plenty and he's deserved plenty. And I get it. You look at this and you go, well, that's a small thing he's liking. And maybe he didn't understand what he was liking, etc.
He's a moron.
Yeah, no, I hear you. So, but the reason I bring this up and I find this story interesting and disturbing is we're lifting the lid off the Pandora's box, right? So it started with, it started a long time ago, but in this latest cycle, Trump comes in, guns blazing against Mexicans. They're rapists, they're criminals. I guess there's some good ones, right? Then he moves on, and Ben Carson moves on, and others move on to Muslims. And so there's a problem in this country. It is the Muslims, right? And that's literally what a person said to Donald Trump, and he generally agreed, and then he doubled down on it the next day, right? And then we got a 14-year-old kid, which now almost half the country is against. For it's not a clock, it was a conspiracy, it's a false clock operation, and all that stuff. Okay, so now, then, we kid around about her and we have a ban on the show, but this is a really serious topic, so I'm just going to say her name. Ann Coulter comes in with the talk of the fucking Jews, right? And so then that puts you back a little bit, like, wow, it shouldn't be any worse than the attack against Mexicans, African Americans, Muslims, etc. But it's so taboo in this country that when she does it and there is not an enormous reaction, it feels scarier.
Yeah.
Like oh my God, we just went there, right? So now Nugent, if this is true and he follows up with like, hey, maybe the Israelis, right? So because when you peel that lid off and you open up Pandora's box, one of the things that flies out is always anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
All across the world, all across history.
Yeah.
Right?
Here we go. Said Israelis celebrated 9/11. Okay, now what did I mean by that? Look, you can't blame me when ABC News speaks to an American witness who saw what she saw on 9/11. Here's the report.
It began when this woman was watching the Twin Towers burning from her apartment in New Jersey. She noticed 3 men on top of a van, posing for pictures with the towers burning in the background.
And I could see that they were like happy. They didn't look shocked to me. They didn't look shocked. I thought it was very strange.
The witness called police, who stopped the van hours later and arrested 5 men. All 5, it turns out, were Israeli. They were turned over to the FBI. Sources tell ABC News during a check of national security databases, some of the men were listed as having had connections with Israeli intelligence. At the FBI, that set off alarm bells.
Now, the 5 Israelis who, according to that witness, were seen celebrating as they were taking photos of the Twin Towers burning, later were released back to Israel. They were interviewed during a talk show, and one of them said, look, we were just there to document the events. By the way, the moving truck, they claimed that they were working for a moving company. It was a shell organization with ties to Israel. It wasn't an actual moving company. Inside the moving truck were all sorts of passports, all sorts of recording devices, all sorts of strange materials.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what I was referring to when I was talking about the celebrating Israelis. Those 5 men were Israelis, and according to that witness, they were seen celebrating. They seemed jovial as the United States was suffering one of the actually the worst terrorist attack in American history.
Yeah, so I want to tackle the video and then the overall charges. So first, about the video, people get really emotional about it and they get so, oh, that's so very wrong. You're not allowed to show an ABC News video. You're not allowed to show a Fox News video. They did exhaustive, actually back when they did investigative reporting about this as well. And so it turns out we captured a lot of Israeli spies after 9/11. And you're not going to be shocked to find out what happened next. We let them all go.
We let them go?
We let them go back to Israel. So those are indisputable facts, and you can look them up. And so my question is, if those folks, the 5 spies in that particular story, were confirmed as spies, and they were, why did we release them? That's super strange, isn't it? Normally when a country catches a spy, they never release them. You might do a spy exchange, you might kill the spy, you might keep the spy in jail forever for the rest of their lives, but you never return them for no reason back to their home country, unless that country is controlling your country, okay? And so why, and the answer that no one can give, all they just do is huff and puff, huff and puff. Oh, you can't show that video. Don't show the video, don't tell people what the Israelis are up to. Don't tell them that the spies were released, okay? Well, kiss my ass. We are telling them, and we're telling them because it is about the government of Israel, and stop slandering our brothers and sisters who are Jewish Americans who had nothing to do with it. They were not part of a spy operation. Mossad didn't call them. No, this is the government of Israel. So last thing on the video, that when they go back to Israel and they say, one of the guys says, we were there to document the events. No one can answer, what does he mean? Yeah. How did you know there was going to be an event on 9/11? How did you know to pull the van up before the towers were hit? To take the pictures and the video. Why were you celebrating? But forget the celebration. I don't care. Maybe it was a misunderstanding. What I want to know is, how did you know? How did you know there was going to be an event? So, of course, that's why groups like this flip out, because that could show you what Israel's actually been up to.
And they're trying to.
And so in this country, lately, we've done a pretty good job of bottling it up, right? And now it's starting to sneak out, right? And by the way, where is it coming from? It's coming from the right wing who pretend to love Israel all this time. Oh, Israel, oh, Israel's our friend. All of a sudden, Ann Coulter, Ted Nugent, totally hard right wing, right? All of a sudden talking about the Jews and the Israel and this. They never liked Israel. It was always a game.
Israel is useful, but they've been holding back, as you said, with Jewish Americans or Jews living in Israel. And that's when you can see that they're getting emboldened and you can see their courage rising. They're like, it's like the uncle who, now he doesn't need 3 drinks to start saying something racist at dinner. Now he starts as everybody's sitting down at the table. Like, you don't want that. You want it to require something extra for them to reveal how dark they actually are.
So then, when I started criticizing Israel, IDF wrote my name on a bomb.
Yep.
Okay.
That was early on.
Yeah, and then an Israeli agent in a debate we had on air called me a parasite. So that is literal Nazi language, okay, dehumanizing people. What was amazing is in the next debate I had at UCLA with a lawyer supporting Israel, she also called me a parasite. Now, see, I get an Israeli agent doing it, but when a lawyer sent by Israel also says it, that's them sending a message. We're trying to dehumanize you so somebody will do damage to you, okay? These are sick thugs. So go ahead and kiss my American ass, you bunch of Israeli pigs. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Yeah, now people encourage them with talk of like, oh, Ben Carson's just a truth teller. Donald Trump's just a truth teller. You know, these guys, when they attack this race or this religion, they're just telling the truth, man. They're the only ones with courage. Why were you celebrating? But forget the celebration. I don't care. Maybe it was a misunderstanding. What I want to know is, how did you know? How did you know there was going to be an event? So, of course, that's why groups like this flip out, because that could show you what Israel's actually been up to. And these guys then think, oh, I got more courage where that came from. I hate the Jews too.
Yeah.
How's that for courage?
If you like Trump, you're gonna love me.
Right? So, and I'm telling you, man, and once anti-Semitism leaps out, it's an enormous problem in and of itself.
I need you to understand something clearly. You are hated internationally. Hated. Don't be mistaken based on the propaganda you hear in American media. That's not representative of how the American people feel about you. You're hated. And it's not because you're Jewish. It's because you slaughter innocent people. It's because you think you're God's chosen people when you act like absolute demons.
You don't get to hide behind, we're protecting people against bigotry. No, you are the bigots. You are the bigots who say that a Palestinian life is worth nothing and you should get to slaughter them endlessly.
But he encourages others to want to slaughter you, to slaughter you.
And if anybody complains, take away their money, take away their jobs, take away their freedom on behalf of Israel. No, this is America. And if you come for Americas like this, at some point, all of America is gonna rise up, and they should. And we should realize that Israel is not an ally. They're a force within the country that is constantly robbing us blind. They've already taken $310 billion from us. And when you ask them why, they say, you owe us. What the hell do I know you for? Americans don't owe you anything. We've already given you way too much. We never should have given you anything, let alone $300 billion, let alone in the middle of a genocide.
It also encourages everything else. That means there's no bottom
What's
left.
off limits?
What's off limits? There's nothing off limits. So dark forces have been unleashed in the world. And I don't know if we can bottle them back up, but I'm telling you right now, they're coming. And so these guys, everybody, you should have never encouraged this kind of thing in the first place. And we don't know where it leads, but it leads to dark, dark places. Young Turks.
So the government of Israel is run by a bunch of sick terrorists, and people who work at Stop Anti-Semitism and Canary Mission are working for them and against the American people and hiding behind good Jewish people in this country. And by the way, putting them in danger by being disgusting pro-terrorists while pretending that they speak for all Jews. Stop hurting our Jewish friends and family by doing these kind of monstrous actions and putting a genocide on them when they don't deserve it. They didn't do it. It was your sick Israeli friends who did it. And why don't you own up to that and be truthful for the first time in your life? And they never will. Instead, they'll go back to the same old things. Oh yeah, we should threaten them. Threaten them. How could Americans dare to have freedom of speech? You must end America's freedom of speech on behalf of Israel. But hey, me burning your constitution for a foreign government, if you complain, you know what they're gonna do? Anti-Semite, fire him, arrest him, take away his livelihood, make sure you destroy all of Israel's enemies, but you're not allowed to say it. Well, we just said it, so go ahead and kiss my American ass, you bunch of Israeli pigs.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings.